to another interesting video. In this video, you're going to learn how to go about making this beautiful piece over here. If that's what you're interested in, kindly hit on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell as we move right into the video. To start with, fold your fabric into two and have your start line as you can see. So let's impute the horizontal measurement. We start from the chest line, which is 10.5 inches, and to the waist line we're going to measure 16 inches. Then down to the fold length, we're going to have 33 inches on the fold length and the hemming allowance of 2 inches, which is 35 inches. So you're just going to repeat the markings on 2 points so as to have precise and accurate lines all round. After marking, pick up your ruler and draw the lines as you can see. So making sure that you have 2 points so as to have a straight line. So I have omitted the hips line at this point, but along the line I'm going to impute that. Then I'll mark out 4 inches at this point. I will take the 4 inches down through the hem line. Then I'm going to draw it out. The purpose for this 4 inches serves as an overlapping allowance. Remember that the outfit is just overlapping as you can see. Then I'm going to impute my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 18 inches. So half of it is 9 inches plus half of an inch as seam allowance. So I have 9.5 there. Then I'll mark down 2 inches as my shoulder slope and I'm going to slope it right away to this point. Another thing is the neckline of 2.5 inches at this point. Unlike the blazers, this one is different. It's just like a shirt neck and then 3 inches down here. So that is 2.5 by 3 inches is okay for this. Then I'm going to round it up just like so. Yeah, this is the shirt neck. Then I'll go ahead and add my allowance at the shoulder just as you can see. Next, I mark half of my armhole depth. Sorry for this. Then I'll now come out by 1 inch here. For normal blazers, it may be 1.5. So after that, mark the quarter of the chest measurement as you can see. Then I'm going to go ahead and draw out my armhole. If you notice that this armhole stops at the quarter of my chest measurement, but I'm going to go ahead and extend the chest line by 2 inches. Then I'll add 1 more inch for seam allowance. At this point, I'm going to extend the line upward like so, and I will measure 1 inch. So I'm going to raise the armhole to that point. That's 1 inch from there. Then I'll go ahead and cuff the armhole to connect to that point like so, just as you do in a normal blazer. So just make my seam allowance to be connected to that point by squaring it up like so. Then I'm going to insert my hips point, that's 25 inches because I earlier omitted it just as I said. So this is my hips line now. And I'll mark quarter of my waist circumference plus 2 inches plus 1 more inch for side seam allowance. And that's what I'm doing. I'll also mark my hips, that's quarter of my hips, and whatever I have at my hips is what I'm placing at the full length. Using a straight ruler, I'm going to connect from my hips point to the full length because I have precisely the same thing. Then while using my hips ruler, notice how I place it. I'll now connect it to my hips line, that's from the waist point. Sorry for this, I'm connecting from my chest line to the waistline at this point. So after that, I'm going to extend my neckline to pass the overlapping area. So by this, I'm done drafting the front part of it. So to cut the front part of it, here is the technique that you need to follow because one side of it must have an extended rope while the other side does not have. So you have to adjust the material. You don't need to cut the two pieces together. Watch as I am cutting just one piece. And this one piece is the piece that is going to be inside. That's going to be the inward piece. So that's what I'm cutting. I hope you understand. It's just the piece that is going to be at the right hand side. of the front. So after cutting this, I'm going to adjust it to the other side like so, keeping this space so as to enable me to bring out the rope that you see here. Okay, at this point, I am going to mark 2 inches below my waistline like so. Remember, my waistline was at 16 inches, so 2 inches below it is 18 inches. And I'll mark it out this way. Then I'll mark 2 inches more. The strap is going to be 1 inch at the end of the day. So I'm marking out 2 inches so as to stitch it by half inch on both sides, and it will remain 1 inch. So I am thereby drafting it out and curving it this way. I'll first of all do it with a free hand, then I will go ahead to use my curve ruler to blend it, as you can see. Remember that you need to do your work very neat. Always ensure that your work is very neat. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to check the length of the rope to ensure that it passes the length of the outfit. So then I go ahead to cut it. Then after cutting out the bodies, you're going to see how I would go about cutting the end part of the rope. The rope is really long. It should be longer than the outfit itself, just as the style is. So this is the end of the rope. So I'm going to cut it out. Remember that this rope is basically going to appear on the left side of the front panel. So this is it. I'm done with the front cutting. So we are going to move over to the back. Okay, so I have spread out my fabric on folds. I'm marking out 1 inch like this. So the reason for the 1 inch is so as to have my center back allowance. Then I'm marking the same thing I marked out on the front part of it. So I'm going to mark the chest line 10 inches, waistline 16, hips line 25, and full length 33 plus 2 inches hemming allowance. And I'll repeat that on 2 points so as to have my straight line as usual. Remember, I don't joke with straight lines because I know the benefit of it. If you are to make your work neat and professional, do not omit this part of it because it is really very important when it comes to outfit construction. I mean, professional outfit construction. Having done that, I'm going to mark my shoulder as it was in the front. My shoulder, half of it is 9 inches plus half of an inch for hemming allowance. Then I will also mark my shoulder slope like so. After that, I'm going to mark my neckline, whatever I had at the front, and that's what I'm bringing to the back. That's 2.5 by 1 inch this time. Mostly back neck depth is 1 inch. Don't forget that. Okay, when I'm done with that, I'm going over to the shoulder. I would add my shoulder slants, that is seam allowance, and then I will locate the midpoint of the shoulder armhole depth. Then I will mark it out, mark quarter of my chest measurement minus 2 inches that I added to the front part. Then I'll raise it up by 1 inch to match up with the front parts, just as I did. Then I added my seam allowance. I'm going to go over to plot my armhole like so, making sure that it hits the 1 inch that I added. So this is it. Then I'll move over to the waistline. I'm going to take my quarter of my waist measurement minus 2 inches. Remember at the front it was plus 2 inches. Then I'll do the same at the hips, quarter of my hips circumference minus 2 inches, then plus 1 inch side seam allowance. Then I'll mark it and draft it just as I did to the front panel of it. Now you can see that 2 inches is in the front while the back is smaller by 2 inches. So I don't know if you can get it. This is just what I want. So I'm going to add half inch here. That's my seam allowance. And then I'll mark half inch in between like so. Then coming here, I wouldn't add anything because I'm just going to slant it to that point. Then coming to the hips line, I'll add half inch. Then to the hem line, I'm going to add half inch too. Then I will go ahead to connect the seam allowance. This allowance is just going to be to join my center back together. Remember, it's going to be 2 pieces. Okay, so when I'm done, I'll connect it like so. At this point, I am done drafting the back panel. So what I'm going to do next is to cut it out. So I'm going to cut it out now. Okay, this is what we have for both the back and front, and came out successfully. When I stitched it, it was so beautiful. It came out very, very beautiful, and I loved it. I honestly loved it. So if you've not yet subscribed, kindly do well to do so. Hit on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Please like and share this video. Do not fail to let me know your thoughts in the comment section, please. So after this point, the next thing to do is just to cut out all the linings and interfacing and everything. The process here, you may decide to do it as a normal suit, as normal blazer. You may also choose to sew it like a senator while paying attention to some parts of it. If you want to know the parts that you need to pay attention to, kindly drop the comment in the comment section. And if you want me to upload the video on how I went about making it full tutorial, go ahead and drop it in the comment section too. Then have you seen how I went about measuring the sleeves and also drafting the sleeve, cutting it? It is a special way indeed. So if you want to know, just drop your comment in the comment section. That is what will motivate me to edit the video and post it. Yes, you can only encourage me to do so if you just leave the comment in the comment section. And I tried to film the stitching aspect of it, but I couldn't make it, guys, because I feel it's a waste of time because you guys are not pushing my video up. I just don't want to waste effort when you are not appreciating it. But if you keep liking the videos and then making comments on the videos, this will help push the videos up, and it will give me that motivation even when it's difficult for me to film the sewing aspects of it step by step. So can you please leave a comment in the comment section? Thank you very much.